Yellowstone, the super volcano, is quite active. 2 events in just like 28 hours or something like this. And that in light of all the new details that we know about the magma that is underneath Yellowstone and where it is actually coming from, because it's coming from somewhere else. It's not directly underneath Yellowstone. If you want to view that, I urge you to. I'll put it in the end screen. But is this activity that we're seeing now something that we should be worried about? Well, let's first look at what is happening. So at the Yellowstone caldera, Yellowstone National Park, the Biscuit Basin, we've had quite a few explosions there in the last 2 years. We have another hydrothermal explosion, and then shortly after the next day, another hydrothermal explosion. So 2. It's the black diamond pool of the Biscuit Geyser Basin in Yellowstone. And the second one is actually stronger than the previous one. So only like a day after, a little bit over 24 hours after. So first footage released that shows USGS released that basically they say it's one eruption, but it's like 2 explosions in quick succession. And first explosion has amplified the second. It has ejected rocks, mud, and steam, and significantly farther and also higher than the one that happened on the first day. So, and also we see, if we look at the video that the USGS shows us, we see rocks like that big, right? Larger than a baseball, that are being ejected out into the air. And that is dangerous if you're in the area. We've seen this in the past where people were walking these wooden pathways and then were surprised by this and were running away. The whole wood pathway and everything was destroyed. So that black diamond pool, it's basically roughly, we can say, almost 100 feet long, and we have to say that these large rocks and the boulders were ejected almost to the pool's edge, and this is like a sudden hydrothermal explosion. How dangerous can that be? And I want to jump to Italy for a second when we talk about Campi Flegrei, that we could see a phreatic eruption at any time. So something like this in a way larger scale, way larger than White Island. It's dangerous. White Island was already very, very catastrophic. So, and it precisely happened without warning in July 2024, when the first explosion occurred in that black diamond pool, right, that I just described. Because up until that point, the pool had been relatively quiet. Not really something going on. There were reports of some smaller explosions in 2016 and in 2006. The pool has shown degassing, water bubbling and stuff like this, like hundreds of other pools in Yellowstone. This is like a normal sight, but it has never produced like huge explosions or geyser-like fountains or anything that would tell us that it's so explicitly active. So what is happening there, guys? This doesn't mean that we need to worry that all of Yellowstone is exploding in the next few days, or that we will see a super volcanic eruption or anything like this. Maybe, you know, something is clogged down there like a pressure cooker. Pressure has built up. We could have deposit like silicate that have clogged some underground pathways, or the areas where the fumaroles, the hot steam vents, were coming out. So if that was clogged, the volcanic gases could not escape, and then they accumulate underground, right? And then, you know, once every area is full with it, the pressure becomes too great, and then the gases eventually erupt. So that would explain the initial eruption, but the problem is why the second one so shortly after. If the first one was something was clogged, gas was accumulating, pressure was too high, boof, everything's released. How then can we see a second one, even larger one? That's the strange thing. Even larger one. If it was a smaller one, we could say, yeah, maybe something remained and reclocked and yada, yada, yada. But even larger, that is the question, or raises the question, why? So definitely we know if we have subsequent events, that definitely hints at a change in the hydrothermal system of the Biscuit Geyser Basin, right? What is going on in exactly that spot? So we know, and studies have shown that the underground flow underneath the Yellowstone caldera, the underground gas and heat flow, is not uniformly distributed underneath the volcano. There's areas that have more, there's areas that have less. So that's why we see more activity with fumaroles and mud pools and bubbling stuff in some areas, right? So, but I mean, guys, still, this is subject to dynamic changes. So this can change location. So while one area was active for quite a while, this can change and we can see more activity in another area. I've said it in the past. These walkways along these pools and stuff, I mean, it's beautiful, it's stunning. Personally, I would not walk there. I would rather watch the videos, because we can have an explosion at any time without a warning. They didn't know in advance. They don't have sensors that could tell us in advance. And if you're right next to it and these big rocks, they're shooting out at you, can be game over pretty soon. So is it worth it to go there? Go to Yellowstone National Park, of course, but so close to these ponds in these areas, nope, for me, that's just my opinion. I'd rather not, better safe than sorry. So because it can have these dynamic changes, this could potentially involve unpredictable shifts in the system. Maybe that is what is happening here right now. It cannot be ruled out either that a magma pocket has formed a few miles below the Biscuit Geyser Basin. You can't rule that out. Something's heating that shit up, right? So if there is something accumulating, that could further fuel that geothermal activity that we're seeing there right now. But for now, we do not have geophysical evidence that such a process has started or is in the works. We haven't seen increased earthquakes, increased microseismic events, and we haven't seen a ground uplift in that area. So, but I think they will look at this area a little closer right now, and maybe we get more interesting data in the future. But for now, I don't think we have to worry that Yellowstone is blowing up. So if you plan to visit it, just be aware that this is there and enjoy. But again, watch the videos in the end screen, very interesting, and watch Nevada. There's something going on in Nevada that should catch your attention, guys. So thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel and fill me up with coffee, link is in the description, and click the join button to become a supporting channel member, and you get behind the scene videos and private stuff from me. And thanks for clicking the super button and liking and hyping and just being here, writing all these nice comments. And I hope you have still time today or right now to click here so that I can see you in the next one. Bye-bye.